Hey guys, Kieran here. I'm back with a unscripted sort of episode of my TV thing. Today we're going to talk about my initial thoughts of episode 1 and episode 2 of season 1 / series 14 / series 40, depending how you look at it, of Doctor Who. Let's get on with it. Let's have a chat about space babies and the Devil's Chord. Kieran's TV thing. So, welcome to this unscripted thingy-majig about Doctor Who. So first we got to talk about the weird release dates because, the episodes were released to streaming at midnight, I believe, whereas they would have aired on BBC One at in the evening, I think. So, lots of people have been complaining about that, but I just didn't watch them on streaming. I watched them on when they aired on BBC One. It was a pretty good night of telly, actually. We had 2 Doctor Who's and Eurovision. That's another kettle of fish. I think that was fun. So, let's get into this. This is going to be terrible to edit because I'm awful at off-the-cuff stuff. So, we'll start with episode 1, Space Babies. Pretty self-explanatory title. So, it continues automatically after the Christmas episode. We have Ruby going into the TARDIS, and we have the whole, this is the TARDIS. Sorry, I mean TARDIS.
It's called the TARDIS.
That's my first note, actually. The Doctor is West Country. Despite being, what's it? Is he Rwandan and Scottish or something? I don't hear that. I just hear Bristol. So they do the whole explaining what the hell Doctor Who is to someone who hasn't watched Doctor Who before, which is definitely what this episode feels like. This is like, they gotta do what Rose did. The series 1, episode 1, Rose, what that did. Again, for new people, because this is trying to get Americans to watch Doctor Who, I think, this episode. So they do a random landing to the dinosaur times. We have that whole bit with Ruby standing on a butterfly, and which apparently didn't exist then, but we'll ignore that. And she becomes a weird butterfly creature, which I must admit, that makeup did look pretty good. And that bit was kind of funny, but and I like the Doctor, brings the butterfly back to life and she's normal again. That was pretty funny. So definitely trying to prove how time travel works in this series. Again, it's very much don't change stuff in the past. So maybe that's a hint at something. I don't know. He does go into it. He's like, we must not go to Christmas 2004 or whatever that night from the Christmas special. So I reckon something's going to happen there. Oh, you also got a Rani reference. That was funny. They were listing off Time Lords, weren't they? And I was like, just how they like titles and stuff. That was funny. So the Doctor was kind of explaining how he was adopted, which is kind of a nice way to put the Timeless Child thing, and how the Time Lords were kind of posh and liked to give themselves titles. So he was just listing out titles, and Rani was one of them. And then we get to the actual episode, which is some kind of space station in, what was it? 21506, which is very far in the future. And I must admit, that space station did look pretty cool. I got major Series 1, Episode 2, End of the World vibes from it, which I'm sure isn't a coincidence. I think the sets in this episode are pretty great. I like that corridor with the weird monster. What the hell is that? We'll get to that maybe. And I liked the comment where it's is it like Star Trek? And it was like, we'll have to meet them at some point or whatever.
We gotta visit them one day.
So, does that mean the Star Trek TNG / 11th Doctor comics are canon? Possibly. Probably, I don't know. But it's also a TV show. That's weird. That doesn't make sense, but Doctor Who's also a TV show in Doctor Who. Or at least maybe the movies from the 60s existed. I don't know. So basically we find out the spaceship is for growing babies, and it's crewed by a bunch of creepy talking babies. And the main one, Eric, whatever it was, had a weird, always looked worried. So and then they meet, first they think it's an AI, Nan-E, who sounds a bit like Super Nanny, because she says children is children. What? Is that it? Is that all I have to say? And and then they meet the woman, I forget her name, because I don't remember names in episodes, and they were an accountant or something. So basically, the crew of the ship, the original crew, went home in protest because the government shut down the baby making program to save money because it's illegal to turn off the baby making machine, but they can't be bothered to look after the babies or something. I don't know. That was weird. So yeah, the monster. Let's get to that. That was pretty cool, actually. I got major Red Dwarf curry monster vibes from it, which is funny considering it is made of mucus, of course. What the hell? And the ship sort of created it to be scary, but we never actually see it attack anyone or anything. I thought the bogeyman did look really cool though, but I think that's down to the fact that it was a practical suit, and I think practical monsters always look better than like digital ones. So yeah, I'm glad they're going down the practical effects route.
Shoot it! Look at this!
Oh my god!
And the ending's a little weird as well, where they like trap it in the airlock, but then he's like, it's like, I'm the last of the Time Lords, and he feels a bit sorry for it and saves him. Very much a mix of, that seems very much a mix of Aliens and what was it? The end, the Cyberman episode, End of the World? No. What was it? When Rose was sucked into the alternative dimension. It was very much like that. This episode actually was very much like Rose, that first step, well, and a bit the second episode of Series 1. Especially with the bit where they were looking out the window at space. That was funny. That was like exactly like that episode. Episode 2, End of the World. Yeah, basically they've saved the monster and all the babies are happy about it. And then they use all the methane that was built up from the baby poop to launch the ship, I think, into the planet. I can't remember. Yeah. So that's kind of dumb. A bit dumb, maybe. I wasn't quite sure about that. It was a bit basic, really, but it was alright. I think it was alright. I'm not one of those fans who hates Doctor Who, so I'm not a real Doctor Who fan. If I make future Doctor Who videos, they won't be, the show's all woke and yeah. What? I don't know. And yeah, the episode there was the whole weird bit with the snow as well, so there's definitely this overarching thing, which I'm sure we'll find out soon, because yeah. And then the episodes end with the Doctor scanning Ruby while they leave the TARDIS, and then it starts snowing again. Ooh. So yeah, I think something's going to go down on the Christmas night 2004. I still think there's three things. There's three theories. I think either Ruby's a space baby from this spaceship, which is a thought I had when I was watching it, or that they've ripped off Red Dwarf and she's her own mother. Because on the Christmas episode, when you saw the mother walking away, like, her boots were like very much something Ruby would wear. So I don't know. Or there's the fan theory where she's like Rose and the Meta Crisis Doctor's kid. But yeah, whatever. I don't know what's going to happen there. Yeah. So overall, I thought it was an alright episode, to be honest. A bit weak, especially compared to episode 2. But we'll get to that later in the video, probably. So episode 2, I think, which was the better of the two, and which is why they probably put 2 episodes on. Because episode 1's maybe not the best introduction. So, yeah. What was it? The Devil's Chord. Do-do-do. Right to that Bill Bailey bit. The devil lives within. Stand back, brother. Oh god. So yeah, I think this was a better episode than the first one. Because I love the historical episode. So going back to 63 London, that was great. I loved like the reference to Totter's Lane and stuff. That was excellent. That was good. So yeah. It starts with like a piano teacher teaching a little kid, and then he shows him the Devil's Chord, and this week's enemy comes out of the piano, played by, what was it? Jinx Monsoon. I'm not really familiar with, were they on RuPaul's Drag Race or something? One of those shows? I don't know. I don't really watch that stuff. And they were good, honestly. What was also cool this episode was the kind of custom title sequence. That was interesting, with like the piano, and then the theme slowly like faded in weirdly. That was kind of interesting. And then it like transitions, cuts to the theme being played on the jukebox, which I find kind of funny. But yeah, when the episode began, it basically, I would assume they've been traveling together for a few months now, because yeah, they know each other a bit better. But yeah, Ruby asks to go to 1963 to see the Beatles record their first album or whatever. And this episode, they go off and get changed into historical outfits, which I think is cool. That hasn't been done too much, especially with the Doctor. They both just looked so cool, didn't they? Oh my god. So, they travel back to London, 1963. Yes. But, once they go to Abbey Road, which was then EMI Studios or whatever it was called, they find everyone's just terrible. I love that hilarious fake Beatles song about having a dog. But yeah, and Cilla Black's also there. Yeah, everyone's terrible. They all just end up sounding like the Shags or something. Nobody's interested in making music anymore. And we find out eventually it's because of the maestro has taken it all away for some reason. Once you found out that they were a child of the toy maker, like, it makes so much sense. They really managed to capture the same energy as Neil Patrick Harris in The Giggle. And I love how they switched from like they did the angry, like almost screamy metal vocal, like rah! That was so funny. No, yeah, a lot of people commented on like the Beatles not looking like the Beatles. They look more like the Rootles to me. But that doesn't matter really. It's like a TV. It doesn't have to be accurate in the end. There was like lots of little niggles, I think, for me. I'm weird. Like, when they crossed Abbey Road, they crossed it how they crossed it on the album. But they were walking towards the studios, which is actually, on the album cover, it's on like the side they're walking away from. But I think like that street scene they got right. Other than the rims on the Beetle, if you look at the wheels on the wheels on the Beetle, they're clearly too modern.
Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
But I'll ignore that. We'll ignore that little minor detail. Flipping, they went back to 2024, didn't they? And there was like a nuclear winter. That scene looked pretty cool. Again, fake CGI. They weren't like, it might look better if they like dressed a part of London and then CGI'd the rest of it, but it was clearly in a set. But yeah, that was kind of cool. So like all the music without music, we go to World War III. That was kind of crazy. Although again, a little nerdy thing there. That must have happened before 2012 because there was a Routemaster bus in the background with a bus number, and they went out of regular service in 2012. So I know they probably picked a Routemaster because it's like, that's what Americans think our buses are like, but they haven't been like that for like a decade. But yeah, another little nerdy niggle. Nerdy niggles. Yeah, so then they return back to the past, and of course, the only way to defeat the Maestro is with a music battle.
Music battle.
Which I think that was pretty funny. And in the end, they trap them inside like a double bass and a drum, which is pretty hilarious. But yeah, I like that in the end it was John Lennon and Paul McCartney who sort of played the right chord to trap them back in the piano. That was pretty cool, actually, yeah. And then, of course, there was the musical number at the end, which I think was pretty good. It was very Murray Gold, kind of funny, but I could see why some people might not like it. But they'll be like, oh, Doctor Who shouldn't have musical numbers. They seem to have forgot the Ballad of the Last Chance Saloon. I think we all purposefully forgot that one, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I think the story is pretty good. Yeah, the weirdness of it makes sense. I think the world's still iffy from the Giggle. The Giggle. Yeah, maybe they'll do more with that. Because, oh yeah, there was the One Who Waits. So, there's obviously a big bad who is maybe orchestrating all this or something. So it's definitely, there was the old lady in the Christmas episode, who like spoke to the camera at the end of the episode. That was hinting at something. So maybe, yeah. I doubt they'll whip out the master again, but I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, right, so can't really think of anything else to say. There's actually a couple of things I forgot to say, so I had to add them in post. I'm not very good at like talking about stuff like this. So yeah, but overall, I liked both the episodes. Despite the first one being a titchy bit weaker, but I still like this, like the spaceship vibe of it, and like the very Red Dwarf-esque monster. I liked that. And then the Devil's Chord episode, I like that it was just kind of music themed because I'm kind of a musician. But yeah, that was cool. And I like historical episodes in Doctor Who, but ones where an alien interferes with time. But yeah, overall, I like that second episode better than the first one. But oh yeah, there was a she has a song in her heart thing as well. Again, hinting I think something's gonna happen on Christmas 2004 on the final. Like, we already know that they have been like a new companion's been cast for the new series 20 billion, whatever it's called. The series numbering is very confusing as well. Sorry, it should be series 40. We should have kept the numbering from the classic era. Is that it? I think that's it. There's nothing else off the top of my head, so hopefully I can string this together and make it a decent video, but I don't know. So that was my initial thoughts for the first 2 episodes of the new series Doctor Who. I think it's alright, to be honest. I know, I'm a terrible Doctor Who fan. I didn't hate anything, and I don't think Russell T Davies is like a woke spokesperson for the evil liberal parties, evil liberals or something. I don't know. I kind of don't want to cover Doctor Who too much because it just brings out terrible people because the fan base is awful, or at least online. Yeah, I keep getting recommended all those channels complaining about it. But that's that. Right. So yeah, that was my initial thoughts on those 2 new episodes. I hope you enjoyed this. A proper scripted video should be coming out soon. I've got like an episode of the I've got like an episode and a half to cover of the show I'm talking about, and then I need to like do the outro. But yeah, that's almost done. So a video might come to this channel soon. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, or that YouTube shares is appreciated. Thanks for watching, and toodle pipski.
Roll to record. And 3, 2, 1.